This is an Electro Voice T-35 horn tweeter from the 50s or 60s, I believe. Quite old, and it does not work. It's dead completely. This is the same as the Klipsch K77, I believe. So we're going to replace the diaphragm, and I'll show you what I'm going to use. Is this little diaphragm here will go inside to replace the original. So I'll show you how to prep the driver for insertion of the new diaphragm. Okay, the first thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and put this diaphragm away safely. Hope you can see this. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but we're going to take the back off this driver. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. Take the 4 screws out of the back of the casing. And then the front horn will come off. Don't know how well you can see that at all. Let me see something here. Yeah, you can see that. We'll set this horn lens aside. I'll probably repaint this. Here's the driver. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's literally all it is. 4 screws. This will come apart. May require some percussive persuasion. There's the driver, and I've now got the actual front plate off. Here's the magnet. Here's the diaphragm. The old one is paper. The paper ones are not very common, but pretty much every early T35 driver had a paper diaphragm. Take a quick look at the voice coil and the magnet gap and show you what we need to do to both in just a moment. So here's the magnet. It's an alnico magnet, which is actually down inside. There's a keyway here, that doesn't really matter with this one. Some paper that came off the original gasket, and we're going to reuse this gasket, and we're going to have to manually realign this. Now, looking closely at the voice coil, I really don't see where it broke. I don't know how close I can get. Yeah. I don't really see where it broke, but the wire is so thin on these it's impossible to see a break. So we'll go ahead and test this real quick, and I'll give you an idea of how bad it really is. Wide open. So the original voice coil is bad. Now we're going to have to remove this cone. It's pretty simple. Really, you just got to be rough with it. Here it is. I'll take a closer look at the voice coil whenever I'm done. And this gasket ring is going to have to come out when it's glued in. And if you actually look at the gasket ring on here, the diaphragm is not all the way against the front plate, neither is it all the way against the magnet plate here. It's actually in between. So we're going to have to take this layer of paper out. And as you see, if you look closely where that little eyelet is, there actually is 2 layers, so we can easily peel that apart. Clean up the old black paper cone and we'll glue the ring to the magnet, then glue the new diaphragm to that ring, and then we'll hook it up to the test amp back here, and we'll play a tone, the lowest it can go, and I'll show you how to align it. It's fairly simple. So let me go ahead and get this ring out of there. And it's fairly simple. Flathead screwdriver, you can go ahead and get in there, and there is 2 layers. You just find the other layer, and if it comes apart part ways, it's okay. A little bit of glue will fix it. And as you can see, I don't know how well you can see that. I'll bring it up to the camera. You can actually see the edge of the diaphragm here. So we're actually in between those 2 layers. We're not going to take this bottom layer off. So we're just going to pull that off. Doesn't matter if it comes apart, it's paper, but we got to reuse it. As you can see, here's the edge of the old diaphragm. And we'll get all the old paper out of there, all the old dirt and debris, and also do the same thing to this piece of paper. And then I'll show you what to do next. Here's the diaphragm. The old one, of course. I don't know how well I can get this to focus, but if you look closely enough, I don't know if it'll come through, but you just might be able to see a separation in the windings. These have moved and they have failed. There's a break somewhere. Maybe not in the coil, but maybe in the lead out to the input terminal has failed. But the coil has moved. I'd say this was a victim of feedback. These speakers, or this tweeter that the speaker goes to, or the speaker that this tweeter goes to, came out of some kind of sports facility. There's 2 of these. I fixed the other one already. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows feedback is always an issue. Plus loud, trebly, distorted music is also quite common in those kind of places. The magnet has been cleaned out. Let's take a piece of paper, a piece of tape around a piece of paper, and run it through there a couple times, get some dust out of there. And I've put some tape over this so it doesn't get any more dust into it. I have dry fitted the actual cone or diaphragm. It fits. And if you look closely, I've also removed the enamel coating off the wire there. It's actually tinned on the end, but that's way too long. It's going to be tinned and soldered here at the very edges. Diaphragm is now marked which side is positive. That'll go to the red terminal on this cup here. If you see, one side is black, one side is red. Now we're going to get some adhesive. Doesn't really matter what kind. I use this a lot of times, vary sometimes. And we're just going to put an even amount of glue around the edge here. Doesn't really matter. Just don't get it into the voice coil gap. That's a bad thing. Just put enough on there that you're sure that it won't vibrate. It won't come loose, but you just want to make sure that it's adequate. Alright. Now, this side was where the diaphragm was. Doesn't really matter. But we'll go ahead and place this back down on here. Making sure not to make a mess of it. And that's roughly, I don't know, probably 1/16 or maybe 1/8 of an inch of height off the voice coil, or off the magnet gap. We'll go ahead and work that glue in there. Get a closer look there. I'm going to apply some glue to the edge where you see that dark ring here. We'll smooth it out. And then we're going to seat the new diaphragm down in there. We're going to make sure that we move or position the leads to where these little holes are in the paper. And it has a little bit of movement to it. There's a little bit of an allowance. And then, as it's actually already centered, it's not even rubbing, but we'll go ahead and do the test tone just to make sure. But first, before we do that, we're going to get it pressed down into there. I'm going to let it tack for a little bit. And then once it's dry, or when once it's a little bit thicker, the glue has settled into the phenolic, I'll position it. So I'm going to go ahead and work that in there as best as I can. I'll go ahead and get the test leads hooked up and turn on the amp and all that, and then I'll show you how to do the test tone. Got the test leads hooked up, and I've got something under each test lead to prevent unwanted strain on there. Put a little bit of a, there we go. So if that has, you know, it's not going to move the cone out of position. We're going to turn the amp up. I've got everything running through a capacitor, so I don't put any low frequencies or DC through it. About 800 hertz, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear this. I'm going to turn the air conditioner off behind me. And whenever I move it, you'll be able to hear it come in and out of alignment. If you hear that right there, that means it's not in alignment. It means it's moving or touching inside. Now if it's dead quiet like that, you've done something wrong. Basically it'll find a little spot already by itself. You can actually feel it moving if it's rubbing inside. If you can physically feel it moving and rubbing inside, then you need to adjust it. Hear that? Find the medium point between the two extremes, left, right, and up and down. It's aligned. Now we're gonna let it dry. Okay, so move everything out of the way here. It's been sitting here for a couple minutes. It doesn't have to sit real long. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put some glue here throughout this whole entire gasket here. So I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. Apply some glue. Not a whole lot, but enough. And then we're going to smooth it out. Smooth the existing glue out, add a little bit here and there if necessary. I don't know if you can even see that. I apologize. I'm sure everyone tuned in to see my hand. Just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And once that gets sandwiched onto that from the pressure of the screws, you know, it won't lose its alignment or anything like that. It'll adhere to the front here, It's still aligned, doesn't scratch or rub or anything. So we're going to find the positive here, which is here. It's the red. I don't know if you can see that. The red here goes to the positive on the diaphragm. Need to clear out this hole a little bit more. So I'm going to take my soldering iron, clear that out a little bit better. There we go. See, the holes are cleared, so the leads will pass through. The red will go to this positive here. I'm going to start with the negative side. I'm going to fish it through the hole, the first side here. I don't know how well you can see that. Still aligned. It's passing through the other side. We'll do the same thing here. This is going to require some patience. So here's the driver. It took a little bit of persuasion to get these leads to go through. The positive side was a little bit hard to get that lead to go through. I got it in there. It's glued together. And now, using the horn, I'm going to set this down on here. And we're going to insert these screws, and the pressure that's going to disperse, the pressure that the screw on the cardboard gasket and all that inside there, while it's drying, it'll hold it together. That's how they did it originally. Some stuff stuck to the screwdriver, but that happens. Apply some more solder here in a few minutes to the other side to fill in the eyelet, make it look a little bit better. Now the horn is fixed. We'll put some test tones and some music through it real quick. See how it sounds.
Like summer and walks like rain, reminds me that there's a time to change. Since the return of a stay on.
And that's what those tweeters are for, is a pair of vintage Musicaster horn speakers. And as you can see, it's a full range Alnica, or that might be a ceramic speaker, cloth surround, dual cone, very beefy, high power, 60 watts I think, and above I think, what was it, like 3.5 kilohertz. The tweeter here, although it's not extremely loud in either one of them, they accent these drivers, which are meant to be standalone full range. This is the Musicaster 2. And there's a large filter capacitor right there for filters off the low end. I think it's a 2.84 microfarad capacitor, very specific value, and just helps the sound of these sound a little bit better. I listened to them without the tweeters, and you know, they did lack highs, but not as bad that I'd actually go to the extent to redesign the whole speaker system with a tweeter in it. But it works, sounds good, and the back's missing, so there was no low end to it. I'm actually rebuilding the backs of these with new boards, and we'll paint them and add a couple jacks on the back, and then I might repaint these sometime down the road, but not right now. So that's what these are all about. Kind of neat. Hope you guys enjoyed this somewhat sloppy video of an Electro Voice tweeter repair. I'm not in the best of moods, but it's getting my mind off things. So I hope you guys take care. Thank you for watching. Also, before I call it a day, I just want to thank all my subscribers. I know it's kind of rough sometimes being a subscriber of Speaker Freak 95. Sometimes there's long periods of times without video. That's just the way that's just the way it is. That's the way it will be. I don't have a whole lot of time anymore. High school is eating my time up completely. Running a sound business also does that anytime. And when I had a girlfriend not that long ago, that ate up time too. But that was okay. That's why I'm in a bad mood. I'm single now. Don't you love life? Thank you for watching. Plenty more videos to come up soon. I have plenty of videos to upload. But I do want to say thank you to the subscribers, people who have stuck by me the whole entire time. New subscribers, old subscribers, doesn't really matter. They're all awesome to me. I really appreciate everyone tuning in whenever I do finish a video and get the gumption to edit this stuff together. So thank you very much. It's very appreciated. And the support I have from the YouTube community, even though Google Plus and YouTube is kind of screwed up, it's still the same old place that I've always known. It's very nice to have the support of people. I want to give a shout out to AM station engineer, I believe, or AM radio station engineer, Tim. I get your emails, I just don't always have time to reply. Hope you're doing good out there, man. Thank you for watching. Prep the driver for insertion of the new diaphragm. Okay, the first thing we'll be doing is I'm going to go ahead and put this diaphragm away safely. Hope you can see this. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but we're going to take the back off this driver. This is an Electro Voice T-35 horn tweeter from the 50s or 60s, I believe. Quite old, and it does not work. It's dead completely. This is the same as the Klipsch K77, I believe. So we're going to replace the diaphragm, and I'll show you what I'm going to use. Is this little diaphragm here will go inside to replace the original. So I'll show you how to oh, let me see something here. Yeah, you can see that. We'll set this horn lens aside. I'll probably repaint this. Here's the driver. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's literally all it is. 4 screws. This will come apart. May require some percussive persuasion. There's the driver, and I've now got the actual front plate off. Here's the magnet. Here's the diaphragm. The old one is paper. The paper ones are not very common, but pretty much every early T35 driver had a paper diaphragm. Take a quick look at the voice coil and the magnet gap and show you what we need to do to both in just a moment. So here's the magnet. It's an Alnico magnet, which is actually down inside. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. Take the 4 screws out of the back of the casing. And then the front horn will come off. Don't know how well you can see that at all.